Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, and others. I am the Guardian, and welcome to another... Sorry about that. Destroyer and all that. But, that's what I was saying. Greetings, and welcome to another... DC movie madness. Cue the theme music. Jimmy, why are you giving me so many of these lately? I mean, it's starting to lose its touch.
Don't blame me. We didn't give you this one.
What? What are you talking about?
Get to your review. You're distracting me from my work.
Playing Spider-Man on my PS4 does not qualify as work, James.
It is too. Gotta unlock all the suits. Whoa! Spider-Man's for life! Woohoo! Oh, fuck.
But if the Bad Movie Overlords didn't give me this one, then it's gotta be... But why would he do that? I mean, it doesn't make sense, but... Fuck it. I'll play your little game destroyer, but you fucked up, because this is a good movie. Crisis on Two Earths! This movie was released back in 2010 and is based off the Justice League series 2-part episode A Better World, which featured an alternate universe of the Justice League members where Superman went off the deep end and killed Luthor when he was president. Which that episode itself was based off the comic book Crisis on Two Earths. The episode itself was a great two-parter and is one of my favorite episodes of the classic Justice League series. And with that said, let's dig into this precious gem of the DC animated vault. This is Crisis on Two Earths. The movie begins on an alternate Earth where the counterparts to both Lex Luthor and the Joker are attempting to steal something called the Quantum Trigger. I find it very amusing how in comic books, as well as movies and other media such as that, where if they want something to sound important or scientific, they just throw the word quantum in front of it.
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
But just as they get the trigger, they're on the run from some very different looking characters. Jester tells Luthor to go on as he stays behind and tries buying him some time. And truthfully, this is something that is actually funny. Now, I don't mean to sound mean, but that's totally something that a person like the Joker would use as a last resort. Oh, sorry, too soon? Luthor gets cornered by the doppelgangers of the Justice League, and he uses a trans-dimensional whatchamacallit to escape them. After an intro that still looks badass with all the oppositions and the multiplying Earths, we cut to our real Justice League working on their watchtower. I have a theory that this was apparently supposed to be tied in with the rest of the DC animated universe, like with Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, because this feels very much like an in-between period, just before Unlimited started, but after Justice League finished its run. It even shows the Justice League watchtower getting more upgrades with guns and additional teleportation. Even Batman at the end of the movie mentioned something about an expanded roster and a membership drive. But I kind of understand why they didn't include this as canon. I mean, Justice League Unlimited has a roster of characters in the show alone that is large enough to fill a franchise. And we can't have a bunch of counter-Earth Leaguers running around willy-nilly. But speaking of the League, they all have different voice actors than we're used to in the other versions, like the Bruce Timm animated universe. For example, Batman is voiced by William Baldwin instead of Kevin Conroy like we're used to. And I don't think it's a bad fit. This Batman honestly reminds me of Bruce Greenwood's Batman from Young Justice. And I think it's a little bit funny considering that this sort of gave me the idea of what Alec Baldwin would do if he was Batman. As for the other Leaguers, we have Mark Harmon as Superman, Jonathan Adams as Martian Manhunter, Vanessa Marshall as Wonder Woman, Nolan North as Green Lantern, and Josh Keaton as the Flash. And as far as I'm concerned, they do a great job with their roles, so I don't really have much to complain about there. Counter Luthor, which is the only version of Luthor we see in the movie who has a speaking role, so I'm just going to call him Luthor, arrives on Earth and gets strip-searched because everyone thinks that he's the evil Luthor.
Oh, and they call me the Flash.
Superman sees that his organs are reversed and he guarantees that he's from a parallel Earth. That's a bit strange, but I don't see any other explanations as to how someone could prove that they're from another reality. Although it does make me wonder, would someone from an alternate Earth have their insides completely reversed like that? Especially if they were from the other end of the multiverse. I guess we'll never know, will we? Luthor explains the situation on his Earth, being the leader and only survivor of his Justice League, and asks our Justice League for help with the crime syndicate. And to get this out of the way, the members of the crime syndicate are as follows: Ultraman, Owlman, Johnny Quick, Superwoman, and Power Ring. I'll also be mentioning the other counterparts to certain characters as the movie goes on, assuming I know them or not. Which, something tells me I might. Everyone except Batman agrees to go along with Luthor and help him stop the Syndicate. They do this to save lives, period, and also to stop the likely possibility that the Syndicate might come to their Earth next. They arrive right in the middle of a group raid on Luthor's Hall of Justice and a fight ensues. Alright, let's see here. We have Breakdance Boy here as a doppelganger to Vibe. Black Power is obviously a doppelganger to Black Lightning. We also got a doppelganger to Elongated Man. I think this one is a doppelganger to Cheshire. But even in the regular universe, Jade is a tool for the League of Shadows and fights as well as fucks Red Arrow quite often.
Actually,
Ah!
that's Sai. She's supposed to be this universe's counterpart to Katana.
Dude, what the hell are you doing here?
Otis, I only pop up when it's absolutely necessary to nitpick when you are reviewing anything related to DC Comics.
Then why weren't you in any of the other DC animated movies that I've reviewed, or any of the other stuff relating to comics I've talked about?
I'll never tell.
Okay. She who became Scar from The Lion King must be a doppelganger to Vixen, but I could be wrong about that one. We got an obvious Star Sapphire doppelganger.
Halo.
What? Okay. And this one, who might be Cersei or another Amazon.
Looker!
Mind explaining that one?
Well, her name is Model Citizen in this Earth.
Really? Model Citizen?
Yep. And, in continuity-wise, she's a vampire.
A vampire.
A vampire.
Huh. So she is. Cool. Now back to the fight. Superman takes on Superwoman, which I guess is like fighting Wonder Woman on a bad day.
Actually, Superwoman is Mary Marvel's doppelganger.
Who the hell is Mary Marvel?
There's a lot of history to go into.
So just skip it.
Basically, she's Captain Marvel's sister.
Damn. Flash wraps up Elongated Man's doppelganger and gets jacked by Looker with a joke I cannot refuse.
This is not like the Jedi mind trick.
This is not like the Jedi mind trick.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Looker too. He likes your boogaloo.
Shut up! Wonder Woman shows her badassitude by gut-slamming a grizzly bear.
Badass!
Jean knocks out Black Power, and all this is going on while Owlman steals Luthor's data. And speaking of whom gets KO'd by Superwoman in round 1. Get used to that. I have a feeling that the joke in this movie is that good Luthor isn't the best at what he does as he thinks he is. And John stops her from phasing Luthor's insides. Who's that one?
Gypsy!
Fucking nerd. Superwoman calls in for backup that scares Luthor, so everyone decides to retreat. Unfortunately, Owlman doesn't feel like letting them off so easily. So now we get something of a sky battle along with a game of Don't Drop the Flash. Wonder Woman tries to jack Owlman's plane, but it's revealed that he's a lot stronger than he is thanks to his armor. However, she does knock him off, which allows him to escape. She also saves Flash now that she has a jet. Okay, that always confused me in the comics too. Why does she have a jet? She can fly! And yeah, she keeps it at the end of the movie.
Hey, I keep that thing too.
You can't fly, though. Of course you'd keep the jet.
Hey, at least I wouldn't get caught.
Superwoman's cavalry arrives in the form of... my only guess is doppelgangers to Shazam, given the attire and the lightning stuff, and the fact that they're kicking the shit out of Superman.
Captain Marvel Jr., and Uncle Marvel.
Thanks. Luthor manages to engage the chameleon circuit in Owlman's plane, making them invisible, which gives them a means of escaping. Now, before I get back to the story itself, there are a couple of things that I'd like to say thus far. I love the idea of alternate realities. In fact, multiverse theory is very fascinating in its own right, and this example is no exception. At least to me, this idea hasn't been used too much in film itself, so it still feels like a fresh idea even after all these years. Due to this idea not being done to death like the Versus movies these days, this movie still holds up in the setup department. And as for the characters, That honestly might be up to the viewer, but I, for one, don't mind how they made some of these alternate heroes with their personalities. I've only seen one other version of Ultraman, and that was in Smallville. Therefore, much like the show, it didn't leave me with too much of an impact. Ultraman here is another story. Much like how Superman is bold and stoic, Ultraman is intimidating and strategic. I do like how these opposing concepts make it easier to grasp this idea of a crime syndicate. In fact, I do remember in the LEGO DC Supervillains game that they made similar references to the Justice Syndicate, along with their personalities. And I feel like I am rambling, but I'm just trying to get my point across. Superwoman, while not a real opposite to Wonder Woman, is in fact fueled by lust and a violent temper. Not too much can be said for Johnny Quick since he's not in the movie too much, nor Power Ring. And I'm not even going to mention Martian Manhunter's doppelganger since he was killed by Jester's nuke at the start of the movie. But Owlman is completely different from all of them. However, I'll get to him a little bit later in the movie, but as for this, it really feels like a mafia family. They explain here with that,
Jed Jarkus.
that guy's death, his minions and turf are up for grabs. They act and treat their situations a lot like how a mafia crime family might.
Well, duh. The people who are given powers under the main 5 now, are literally called made men. That's a straight-up mafia term. A made man is a fully initiated member of the mafia, and to become one, an associate must be sponsored by another made man.
You're just gonna keep popping up at various points in this video, aren't you?
Like a herpes flare-up!
The fact that they work like a crime family makes their grip on this world that much more intimidating, and I give them props for that. Hell, they even mentioned government bribes. What else does that sound like to you? But anyway, back to the story. We see the League and Luthor return to Jester's hideout to plan another form of attack. Lex wants to have them bag and tag the Syndicate operations one at a time, but Superman explains how much of a waste of time that is. Which it really is. Strategy is one thing, but time is another. If you have the ability to multitask with little to no risk of failure or complications, then you multitask. Oh yeah, and Harley is a monkey in this dimension.
I'm sorry, Harley. The Jester's never coming back.
Monkey!
Alright, let's see. I think that one there is Solomon Grundy.
Nope. Metamorpho.
The one next to him is that kid from Teen Titans.
Nope. Kid Wicket only exists in a Teen Titans cartoon from 2002. If anything, that's actually She-Bat, who is a mixture of Catwoman and Man-Bat. Yes, I actually had to go to DeviantArt in order to look that one up.
We got a Hawkman, possible Mr. Terrific, Blue Beetle. I'm not exactly sure, though.
No, you're right. And she's the second Mary Marvel.
Cyborg, obviously. Wildcat?
Yep.
Swamp Thing is on the end, Red Tornado is on the bottom, Firestorm next to him, and as for the others, I'm not exactly sure. Oh, Zatanna for sure, and that one there is Dr. Fate on the end.
Alright, as for the others, the blue one might be Aquaman, the one below him is Sandman, and then the yellow one is possibly Kyle Rayner. The red guy is likely Atom Smasher, and the last one on the end, my only guess will be Power Girl.
Sorry about that, but I just had to. Looking through these types of movies and seeing alternate versions of alternate characters, it's like a scavenger hunt. You just can't help yourself. It's too much fun. Before we get our first league takedown of the Syndicate, we cut over to Owlman and Superwoman. And I think this is a good time for me to talk more about Owlman. Particularly his voice. Ever since the movie started and I heard him speak, I knew there was something familiar about him, and now I know what it is.
And once I destroy it, all reality will follow.
Name is Hades, Lord of the Dead. Hi, how you doing?
Yep, James Woods is back, baby. And he is terrifying. Owlman being an otherworldly doppelganger of Batman is scary enough. But he's colder, more calculating, and heartless. And his plan is just sick and twisted. He's like one of those crazy nuts who hit enlightenment by realizing that nothing they do in the world matters anymore. However, he's one of those crazy nuts who has the money, a superpowered exoskeleton, and a super bomb that is capable of wiping out all life on the planet. In fact, it's capable of wiping out the entire planet, period. And he has an interdimensional gateway device, letting him travel anywhere in the multiverse. So because of this dude's enlightenment, he is proving how much of a psychotic sociopath he is by trying to wipe out the multiverse. Owlman, in this version, is easily one of the most terrifying characters I have seen in film. But enough about him. Let's get back to the League. In the League's first move, they have Flash and Manhunter hit one of Johnny Quick's shipment yards with a Lobo and Black Canary doppelganger to fight, along with a Green Arrow doppelganger in red.
His name is Archer.
I'm sorry, what?
Archer.
Archer? Okay. I can't believe it, but I get to make this joke. Anyways, Manhunter sinks the ship, leaving Johnny Quick's operation all washed up. On to the next one with GL and Wonder Woman taking down a meth lab? Well, I'm not exactly sure if it's meth or not, but it's some kind of drug. Wonder Woman fights someone I can't recognize, while Green Lantern takes down the factory and the disposable minions. Honestly, that might be Persephone or someone Diana knows, but I can't be certain.
That's actually Olympia, Wonder Woman's actual doppelganger in this movie.
Groovy. Over with Superman and Lex, they head over to Metropolis to fight off... Olsen? Jimmy Olsen! Oh, that's funny. Lex uses the signal on Olsen's watch, which I find very convenient. So, Ultraman and Jimmy became friends on this Earth the same way Superman and Jimmy did on Earth 1? Huh. Either way, it summons Ultraman, and Lex uses blue kryptonite from Superman's Earth to KO Ultraman in an instant. After all, it makes sense that blue would be the green to Ultraman, considering that... Yeah, alternate Earths, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and about that, while Superman's with the green kryptonite, Ultraman literally eats the stuff!
It turns out that Deathstroke, or Slade Wilson of all people, is president on this Earth, and he lets the crime syndicate go because of their grip on the planet. Despite the League offering their assistance, like a fucking dumbass, Wilson pushes it aside. However, that does not stop them from trying. Back with Owlman, he explains what I explained to you guys about him wanting to blow up the multiverse to Superwoman, and like a love-struck psycho, she agrees to help. At least you can't say she's not loyal? There's also a subplot about Martian Manhunter and the President's daughter Rose being psychically connected through some metaphysical BS, meaning how they might have been meant for one another, but it's nothing really important.
Hey, look, it's Ravager! If she was a normal person!
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's literally Rose Wilson. You just don't recognize her without the white hair and the eye patch.
Holy shit. There's also a moment between Ultraman and Slade about their new situation with the new Justice League and Luthor. And it's honestly a bit intimidating. Especially with that slap. Creepy. Meanwhile, Superwoman is sent to Earth 1 to collect the quantum trigger that Luthor hid on the League's watchtower, which inevitably brings Batman into the fold. But not before we get an awesome fight between Batman and Superwoman in an alien-style mech.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Before Batsy summons more heroes for backup. Specifically, Black Canary, Firestorm, Black Lightning, Aquaman, and Red Tornado.
Take him.
Eventually, Superwoman finds the quantum trigger, but Batman catches her before she heads back to the Syndicate's respective Earth. And despite Superwoman's attempts to break the bat, he successfully outsmarts her.
It's anesthetic gas.
Batman calls the League and they collect their bearings, realizing how they're neck deep in shit now that the Syndicate has the quantum trigger. In case I haven't mentioned it already, the quantum trigger is the key to using that universal shattering bomb. And now that he has it, Owlman is going to use it behind everyone's backs. But the League tracks them down and another epic battle commences. Superman vs. Ultraman, Wonder Woman against Superwoman, Flash racing Johnny Quick, Green Lantern facing Power Ring, and Batman fighting Owlman. It is rather short considering that Luthor is unable to shut down the device attempting to locate Earth Prime, but I don't care, I'm talking about this anyway. I love fights like this, where it's a good guy against their evil twin. It makes for interesting drama as well, since in this case, the Syndicate is a mirror of the real Justice League with the same powers and abilities. This is a really fantastic idea, and I'm a bit disappointed that I don't see it too much anywhere else in film. So I try to cherish it wherever I can find it. If it's done well, that is. Which this is.
Despite the fact that Superwoman is a doppelganger of Mary Marvel, not Wonder Woman?
Yes, despite that. After the device pinpoints Earth Prime, Owlman takes the WMD there, leaving the Justice League and the Syndicate in shock. Naturally, Luthor explains what's going on to the rest of the Syndicate, who aren't pin-headed like Superwoman, and they offer to help. Why? Well, to quote Johnny Quick,
"He's talking about blowing up my world too, and I'm not letting that happen."
well, I mean, they're bad guys, but they still want to live. Luthor helps Johnny reach the right frequency of vibration, and Batman follows Owlman to Earth Prime to try and stop him. And this just goes to show you how stubborn Batman is. He got his ass kicked in their last fight, and as a matter of pride as well as the universe, Batman goes back in for round 2, despite the fact that it'd be smarter to have either Green Lantern or Superman to go after him. Nope! This is Batman's evil doppelganger, and he's going to deal with it himself.
Well, what'd you expect? He's barely in the movie, and at the last minute he just swoops in to save the day. Plot armor much?
Now, Tristan, I'm going to give you a very detailed and fact-filled explanation as to why it's not simply plot armor that gives Batman his importance in this film.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that because he's Batman?
Because he's Batman!
Yeah, but once again, he's not wearing hockey pads.
Owlman and Batman face off once again while the device powers up to destroy all of reality. And truth be told, this just goes to show how awesome Batman is when he is properly motivated. He outsmarts Owlman in just the right way and sends him to an isolated Earth where the device detonates. What's even scarier than that is Owlman's reaction to it.
It doesn't matter.
Scary! After that, Batman returns and Johnny dies due to him vibrating so fast it accelerated his age. Oh wait, does that work?
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
I have a few theories about that. And if you guys would actually want to see theory videos about anything like this, let us know in the comments.
Did you just plug yourself on my own channel?
No, I plugged myself on our channel. I'm part of this too, you know.
Fair enough. The remaining Syndicate members are taken into custody because the President finally grew a backbone, and John says goodbye to Rose before the group returns to their Earth, and Wonder Woman kept the jet.
What do you need a plane for anyway? You can fly.
Good question. I still don't get why she has it in the comics!
Well, the thing is, she can fly, yes, but she has a limit. She's not Superwoman, you know. But like I said, you guys want to hear theory videos about that, let us know in the comments.
And the movie ends with the setup for Justice League Unlimited, with Batman thinking about membership drives. And that was Justice League, Crisis on Tours. It still kicks ass, but rewatching it again, there were a few things that I did notice. First and foremost, Luthor is completely useless. Sure, he brought the League to his Earth for help, but he doesn't contribute to much of the fighting. He's only able to spout exposition about secrets he kept from the League, and when there is a fight, he's either knocked out or doing something else. Now, I suppose you could say that his behind-the-scenes skills did do something, however, I still think he could have done more. Yes, he beat up Ultraman with the blue kryptonite, but other than that, he hardly threw a punch. Weird to complain about, but now let's get to the real stars of the movie. The Crime Syndicate is one of the best ideas I've seen in a comic book. I'm most likely a huge fan of alternate Earth theories, but the way they illustrate how threatening this group is, it makes them a better threat for the League overall. I don't know if I'll say much about the League, considering that they are pretty much the same versions we have seen, the only difference being the voice actors, but I will say that they do a damn good job and make it very entertaining as if Kevin Conroy or Tim Daly was our Batman or Superman.
And fun fact, Gina Torres, who voices Superwoman in this movie, also voices Wonder Woman in DC Universe Online. So, well, you know, Wonder Woman is Superwoman!
Back to the Syndicate. Owlman is easily one of the most terrifying in terms of evil. Owlman is everything Batman strives to avoid becoming. Owlman has little to no humanity and is easily one of the best things in the movie. Power Ring and Johnny Quick sadly didn't get too much development, but their designs were cool enough. Superwoman is malicious, psychotic, and I love it. She's as terrifying as Owlman, but in a different way. You know what I'm talking about. Ultraman is a bit bland, but it works as the head of the Syndicate. His adaptation here is much better than the one that I saw in Smallville, and the scavenger hunt aspect with the doppelgangers was a lot of fun for me. Think of it as a game as to how many of these characters you can recognize. And I recognize quite a few.
With my help, of course.
Thank you, Tristan.
You're welcome. Whether you wanted it or not.
I think it makes it overall more fun to rewatch just to find the other Easter eggs and doppelgangers of famous DC characters. The story is what you'd expect, and it doesn't feel that cliched given when this first came out. I honestly don't have much to complain about in this movie. I guess maybe the stuff with Jean and Rose. I found it a bit pointless since this wasn't supposed to be connected to the DC animated universe, but it was still sweet. It gives Jean a purpose in this movie since his doppelganger was killed at the start of it. Yeah, I can't seem to find much else to complain about. I guess it would have been nicer to see more of Martian Manhunter with the rest of the League, but he's doing what he is doing, and each character has their own bits of development. What do you think?
Yeah, the thing is about that, you've actually been imagining it this whole time. Someone's going a little Lolo, aren't they?
This is, in all honesty, a well-constructed, decently acted, slightly intimidating, fun DC animated movie with many more strengths than weaknesses. Check it out if you haven't already, especially if you like Elseworld scenarios, because if you love those, you're gonna love this movie. Holy crap. I don't know if this has ever happened before. Well, aside from Dan. It felt good to review a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't supposed to. And this wasn't from the Bad Movie Overlords. It was from him. So it has to be a trap. Tristan, get here. Go, Guardian.
Hey dude, what's going on? Got here as fast as I could. You're a little twitchy. Have you been imagining people again? I swear, dude, this shot's making you go a little Lolo.
It's the Destroyer. I think he's making his move.
Well, I'm glad I brought the weapons this time then.
What? Well, that's the same weapon you had last time, and he kicked your ass then.
You're right. Why the hell am I still using this thing?
Because Mystic Force is your favorite season.
Yeah, but that's not gonna help him against him!
Fair enough, but, dude, it's bugging me. I think he sent me the last movie I just reviewed.
What's the last movie?
It was Crisis on Two Earths.
Crisis on Two Earths? That movie's actually legit good and enjoyable.
Exactly! That's what's bugging me about it. I think it's some kind of trick.
Wait, what if it's a clue?
How so?
Think like this. What is the premise of that film?
Alternate Earths.
Right. And consider the Destroyer is from an alternate Earth, aka another alternate reality. He's still your Red Ring of Rage, and he hates you. Consider that, and this movie is about alternate Earths.
Wait, are you suggesting that he's probably someone we know from an alternate reality?
Quite possibly, and this is going off.
What does that mean?
According to this, it's picking up some kind of activity in the vicinity. Close vicinity.
Ah, crap.
So, you figured it out. I guess you're not as dumb as I thought you were.
Destroyer! We meet again. Also, you look bigger.
A healthy daily dose of rage will do that to you.
You're going down! Oh, right.
I guess you are that stupid. Ring of Rage, remember? You can't beat me.
It doesn't matter. You're outnumbered, me. Give it up.
Not likely. I still have more than enough power to... Wait, what?
I said you're outnumbered.
No. You think I'm you.
Well, it is one of the most likely outcomes.
Yeah.
No, you idiots! I'm not an evil guardian, I'm the Destroyer!
Well, if you're not me, then are you Nathan?
No!
Oh, it's Rose. Hey, Rose.
No!
Wait, you can't be me.
Yeah, he's too fat to be you.
I know, right?
Wait a minute. I've got it. You're an evil, gender-swapped Isera here to take over the world with K-pop.
You got taller. And flat.
No, just... fuck it.
Wait, what?
Huh. You know, this is all my dad pointed to. The only reason I said all this stuff was just so I could be a dick. I mean, granted, I shouldn't be antagonizing our antagonist, but... screw it.
Tyler?
That's right. It's me, your one true enemy, Tyler.
Well, you should have seen that one coming. He gets pissed off at the littlest things. He's always full of rage, and he's always talking your stuff. I mean, didn't he last week swipe your copy of Spider-Man for PS4?
He actually did, yeah.
Well, there you go. And worst of it, it should have been pissing off at you.
Exactly!
So where's our Tyler then? The one of this Earth?
The goody-goody? He's dead.
Tristan?
Yeah.
You see, after many years of being in the background and only mentioned in certain reviews, I'm finally here to destroy you for being the pretentious hack you truly are.
When I lunge at him, beam yourself out of here and get us some more gear.
What the hell can possibly be happening this time? These modeling are damn cross.
I don't know. The rings, the digivices, bigger guns. Hell, track down a Zeonizer if you have to. He definitely wants to make me suffer slowly, so I'll try to buy you as much time as I can. So
okay, cool, bye!
Wait, not yet!
There's the first review submit a Green Lantern review! I haven't forgotten that, you bastard!
Damn it! So, can I have my ring back? Oh, fuck. What hit me? And why is my shirt different? Oh. Hi, Tyler.
Hello.
Please untie me. Oh, wait, you're Destroyer, aren't you?
Yep.
Right. So, if you're gonna destroy me, let's get it over with.
Oh no, I have something much worse in mind.
Fuck. Will the Guardian escape this turmoil brought on by the Destroyer? Will we ever find out why it's Tyler who is the Destroyer and why he hates Guardian so much? Probably not, because we don't have that big of a budget. Will the Professor ever come back to help his friend? And what horrors do the Flashpoint Paradox movie hold for our reviewers? Find out next time. Not the same entertaining time, but same entertainment shit. Oh, fuck this noise.